BORTLE here. We have a very special guest today, BORTLE Nation. We have here the Justin Singh with his 5-0 undefeated Sky Striker deck profile. My goodness.
Hey guys, I'm Justin from Penguin Nation. That's like my YouTube and stuff. And I just went 5-0 with the Sky Striker. This was new ban list at our locals. I thought like I'll just give out this deck profile, so people have like a good like base of if they wanted to build a deck from going first. It was a fairly competitive locals. Played against one Sky Striker, one Drytron, two Salamangreat, and one Prank Kids in the last round.
Oh, that's pretty diverse right there. Nice. Did any of them like put up so much of a matchup, or was it close
Yeah,
games?
yeah, like the striker matchup actually was just like one game. Like we were just going back and forth so much. Salamangreat, one of them I 2-0'd and the other one I lost the game to. And then the prank kids it's like difficult because of how the matchup is. But I ended up like hand trapping him game three. And then the Drytron one, if you go first you like can generate enough advantage to keep up with them. But yeah, it was like actually like back and forth a lot, which means it's like pretty interactive, pretty good format so far.
Okay, and there's no secret there that Engage getting unbanned and there's like major hype behind this deck. So, what's your reasoning to why you decided to play Sky Striker post banlist?
When Ryan won like the LCS like a year ago, I think it was with Sky Striker with no engage, I like had like a I liked the deck a lot because I didn't want to play like a bunch of Adamantipator mirrors when Block Dragon was legal. So I played like a lot of the deck during then. And my issue was you had to keep going second. And when you use your Shizuku search at the end phase, if you didn't have a follow-up play, like another way to make another striker link if your first link died, it was just really awkward. You had to you search for a follow-up link always, and then your follow-up wasn't that good. But now you can go first, use shift to grab engage, and you can just search for engage, and then engage can either grab the follow-up link if you need it, or for a way to advance your play if your link sticks, which makes it like a lot better. And then just like in the grind game, using Kagari to use engage multiple times is just really good.
That's true, and also just skimming ahead on this list, this deck's also great going second as well because of all these hand traps.
Yeah, I mained the 12, so it helped. Like it didn't really matter if you lost the dial too much, and it was pretty good in that regard. Yeah. There's actually just one slight mistake on the deck list. This is my bad. One of the Hayate should be a Nightmare Phoenix. Sorry about that.
Well, before we start the actual deck profile, Justin, would you like to do some shout outs?
Yeah. Shout out to Team Ophidian. They're my team. They have great products for mats. Shout out to my locals. Plus One Gaming. It's pretty competitive locals, and we're trying to push our remote duels on Tuesdays. Shout out to like everybody like I test with from my locals and all my local friends, and yeah, just shout out to all those people.
Without further ado, please take it over with the rest of the deck profile, man.
Okay, so for the hand trap lineup, I did three Ash, three Veiler, and three Nibiru for the monster hand traps. Impermanence, I think, is just like one of the best hand traps in Striker because it's as a six card, it can bait a negate out or help you break a board, and it can't be like responded to from talents. It can't be called by. There's so many like perks of using Impermanence. But for Ash, Phil, and Nib, the reasoning for these hand traps is that Ash is always going to be like the most versatile, like in an open meta especially. Uh, Valor, it comes up a lot because it's good against like the slower tempo based decks and like Tri Brigade. It's really good against Drytron because you have two choke points you can hit. You can hit Mu Beta or you can hit Diviner. So it's not once per turn. So if you open two, you can just hit both the choke points, which is nice. And also, it's the spellcaster which lets you to OTK with Selene and Access Code and Halki Firebrax. And a lot of people ask me like why I played Nibiru. Well, Nibiru, because of how I built the deck, your hardest matchups, in my opinion, are like Prankage, Drytron, and Salamangreat, because they could keep up with you very well with in terms of advantage, especially if they go first. And Nibiru like can shut them down to keep them on par with you. Not only that, it has like a great like bonus effect with Rose. If you tribute like their extra deck monster with it, you can revive your Rose from the graveyard, which is like pretty insane. And it's very easy just to get off your own field from like Area Zero or from Zeke as well.
A perfect explanation on the Nibiru because it's definitely the right meta call with, Salamangreat being quite hyped there as well,
Yeah, exactly. And I personally think the matchup is not like that favorable as a lot of people might think it is, but the nib like helps like a lot. Just and I think it's like needed a lot personally. So for the striker monsters, I only did a three ray two rows. A lot of people have been like having the debate with how many roses you play. I think two is like the perfect number now because we have enough copies of like Ray, especially with the engage there. In the Go Second build, I would play three rows because you would need as many monsters, and I'd play Desires. But in a Go First build, I don't think is as necessary because you're not depending too heavily on needing the follow-up link because of Engage now. Whereas when you go second, you need to try to break the board and have it stick because you're going to use your Engage throughout that turn. Because you're usually dumping Engage when you go second with Hayate to try to break a board. So I think just like the five monsters were good enough. I really wouldn't change that. I wouldn't go to one rose and I wouldn't go to three personally because it's a go first variant. So for the spells, I did the goods package with two goods and the one fusion, and I mained the Harpy's Feather Duster. I like this a lot because in certain game states when you have to mind lock your opponent for like a couple turns, you can use like Duster to clear up all their back row they're gonna have against you to like keep you from playing like if you ever out your own mind, and then you can push by out your own mind with Area Zero. Duster is also just like a blowout in the mirror, and it's like a blowout against all the trap decks as well, which is why I liked it a lot. The one Mystic Mine, it's not the win condition of the deck, but it's just there to give your terraforming more versatility. So when you go second, it has more value. One Rhoda to search for Rose Array. Two Area Zero. Two is fine because you don't want to like clump on them, but you just want to have consistency to see Ray and Rose basically. One burner, one jamming. Because I don't play Desires in the Go First variant, I didn't think I needed any more copies of these because you have three Kagari. So Kagari can always grab back your burner. In the mirror match too, if in late game, if you're trying to use burner to clear their back row, it's not going to be as effective because a lot of people are starting to play Eagle Booster. So Eagle Booster can always cancel out your second burners, whereas the one jamming one burner in late games, your Shizuka can then search for the jamming if you already have the burner in grave, which is nice.
Oh, I mean, speaking of Eagle Booster, how come you're not using it?
So I didn't expect as many like mirror matches per se, and I wanted to max out if I wanted all my cards to at least try to maximize doing something going first, with the exception of Afterburner and jamming. So Eagle Booster is like, in my opinion, it's really only super good in the mirror match, and I rather just have like hand traps or strike in that spot. But going forward, if the meta shifts to more Sky Striker, I would definitely put it in. So yeah, the 100 drones is the extender guy. It's obvious. Only two shark cannon. I This was like a weird one for me. In my desires build, I would obviously max it out on three, but I think like you don't really need three in this current format. If like Drytron becomes more relevant, I probably would put three in. Right now, two has just been kind of fun because in the mirror, the this is another reason why I like to go first to the deck too. You generally never make your Kagari first turn, and if they're going second in the mirror, generally sometimes they would have to make Kagari. So then you can keep using their Kagari with your Shark Cannon and just never have to make Kagari, making their Shark Cannons like a lot worse. Shark Cannon is just also just like, but it's like very low impact against like a lot of other decks. So it's kind of like a hit or miss, and its number will change depending on like what meta decks will come in and out. Uh, Three Widow Anchors, obvious, like it's the best one to search.
Hands down.
No, yeah. The one multi-roll, the one engage, one Terra, and one Upstart. Upstart and Terra and Rhoda all just plus one spell, so they're all just really insane in the deck because they just dump a spell and they replace themselves. Same things with goods. And then I think I already explained why I liked Impermanence as my other hand trap. And then this is the card that I liked more than Can. I liked Solemn Strike like a lot more. The reason being is against decks like Prank Kids, you'd rather have Solemn Strike over like a card like There Can Be Only One because they could play through it pretty easily. Solemn Strike is also just generically good in a lot of like simplified game states, and also lets you out perfection. No, not perfection. Ultimateness going second against the Drytron deck. So it's just like overall, it's just very very just like strong. And if you can just open like a way to like a striker card, a hand trap, and like strike, that's usually enough for you to like control a game state to where obviously you're not gonna die, and then turn two, you'll just out resource them because you're playing Sky Striker.
You
Yep.
did touch on the extra deck for a quick second there. I don't know if you want to
Yeah.
go ahead and just run through the names.
Yeah, I can go through the extract. So the way it's laid out right now, I guess it's all the utility cards first. So you see Access Code, Hulky Fibrax, and Celine. Those three are just for the OTK. So if you have like a tuner hand trap, which you can get off Share Cannon or just from your own tuner from Asher Veiler, You make Hulk, Hulk will then summon out Veiler. You turn Veiler and Hulk into Selene. You'll have enough spells in the game to where you can then revive the Veiler to make access code. And usually with a couple high outside pokes or like access code, pop a guy, revive Rose, and then summon a guy, that's usually like 6,800 plus a high outside poke is game. Or like two high outside pokes and access code is game. The Ningirisu's in here for like Dragoon because the deck has like a difficulty outing Dragoon without like Talented Droplet in the list. So just having him in the extra deck is pretty nice. And a lot of times he's pretty nice to like out himself, out an extra deck monster, and then revive Rose, and then you free up your extra deck zone because you can just make the Rose into a link after. The reason for the Phoenix over the third Hayate though is because I didn't want to lose to Imperial Order really. With Rose and Ray, because you play them in like combination of each other, you if they IO you, you can just Phoenix it and then play the game. Whereas like if you don't have Phoenix in your deck, it's a lot harder to play the game. Because I personally like really like Hida in the list, and I want to play Hida again because you can use Hida and turn it into Sling because she's a spellcaster, and also if the meta shifts to Striker and Solid or Tri Brigade, you can special Kit or Fractal. You could special like a Salamangreat or you can special Kagari, and then just like go for game. So it's pretty nice. But the extra deck is so tight that I thought like having outs like Any Spell and Imperial Order was better. So that's why I played the Phoenix. Then the Striker Links, the two Hayate. I don't think you need the third one, especially if you're blinding first, because your Shizuku is what you're relying on mainly to get the pieces you're needing. The three Kagari, that's just obvious. The one Kaina comes up in weird situations. Three Shiz and the one Zeke. I never missed the second Zeke, so I think like that extra deck like all kind of makes sense except for like the utility cards, I guess.
Very, very nice explanation there. And obviously, side egg pretty much dictates like the area you're playing with and all this stuff. I can already see the gam seal, so it's pretty nice side egg.
Yeah, I can touch on the to explain some stuff. So, Pankratop's generically good versus like everything, and it helps you out like anti-spell IO. Cycle Reader, it's actually because your deck cannot physically play. It's not good to play Drolo in this deck because you're
Yeah.
just like you're gonna play for multiple turns. You just want something to like do something. So Cycle Reader is pretty nice. The Gamma Seal was also just like another out for like Dragoon because like I said, I didn't want to have to just depend on using Ningirsu to out it. It also comes up like you can out Sunlight Wolf. You can use it in the mirror. You can out the new big added Ignister guy, the rival guy. So he's like pretty good in a lot of situations. The question a lot of people ask me is like, why don't I play Bella Crow? Why do I play Meister? It's because I think that Prankids is such a bad matchup if they get to resolve their links because they set up their border like pretty nicely and they will out resource you with Washer. That you need to stop their link their generation into the link to into the fusion spell very early. So Meister helps a lot with that. It's just like another copy of Ash for that situation. It's also good against like Dinos and just generically good against like slower decks. And because I play strikes, I didn't feel like I need like the bell for like the mirror match or so. Then the three twin to help a back row, and then the best card on the side is a different dimension gown. I think this card is like just really strong in this format. If you resolve it going first, you can basically win the game. Drytron has to pass to it. Prankets kind of just can't do anything. Salamangreat can't really do anything. Tri Brigade, you just chain it to Fractal, all the stuff gets banished. So it's just like very high impact, floodgatey, and you could chain it to like Lightning Storm, Twin Twister, or Heartbeast. That's why I liked it a lot too.
Yeah, I can totally see the hype behind Sky Strikers, and it's so amazing because this format's it's new. It just started this week, so yeah.
Yeah, I like the format a lot. There's like a lot more interaction. Before I thought like Dragon Link was definitely just like the best deck list format, and now with it not being around and there being more tempo-based strategies, that's why I like this format like a lot more. It's a lot more interaction and a more like playing into your opponent's turns every turn. So you get a reward a lot more for like playing well than you did last format, in my opinion, so far.
Nice, and thank you so much for being on the channel today.
Yep, no problem. Thank you.
So, Bortle Nation, make sure to check out Rampangu Nation down in the description down below. We'll have a link to his YouTube channel. Go ahead and sub over there. And obviously, if you're not a part of Bortle Nation, sub for Bortle. It's that free and it's easy. Oh God, yes. Bortle out.